Hey everyone, Dr. Frunky here with a really exciting new knife consult for you on the Spartan Blades Spartan Harsey Folder. This is an exciting model from Spartan Blades, a company that I have not reviewed as of yet. And it's exciting because Spartan Blades has been winning a lot of awards at some of the biggest knife shows, namely the Blade Show, year after year. Spartan Blades started back in 2008 when two guys came together in North Carolina to create a new knife company that was relentlessly patriotic with intention-built knives. These are some of the phrases that you'll find on their website about their company. They wanted to design knives with a certain intent, and they wanted to make it in the United States with all American people and hardware. And so one of their most well-known designs is this Spartan Harsey Folder, designed by none other than William Harsey. If you don't know that name, in the history of knife making, William Harsey is a well-known tactical fixed blade maker. His Yarborough fixed blade is given to all Special Forces graduates in the United States Army upon completion of their Special Forces training. And so he is a very significant member of the knife community. He has been making knives for a very long time, and to have a design by him can be none other than a very tactical but also a very excellent design. And this knife, a couple of years ago, I believe back in 2016, won the Blade Show Best Made American Knife just outright. And the next year they won for one of their other models as well. So it has been a little while that I've been interested in picking this knife up for a review. I wanted to say thank you to my friend and my viewer, Jay. He goes by Jay Does Knives on Instagram. I actually met him in person at the Blade Show 2019, where he asked if I could take this home and make a video on it. This was a knife that he bought for himself as a graduation present from college. He got his degree, and this is how he wanted to treat himself. And so it's a very special knife to him, so thank you for sending this along so that I could take a look at it and make a video. So right off the bat, I picked this knife up, and I can see that it is clearly a hard-use, tactical-style folder. In the hand, I can only think that it is a combination of a Chris Reeve and a Hinderer knife, and I mean that in all the nicest possible ways. It is a very useful shape, but obviously overbuilt for tactical and heavy use purposes. The thing is not very small, and so let's go ahead and get some vital signs on this guy so you can see how big this actually is overall. If I bring this ruler up, you're going to be getting a full 4 inches of blade up front. You're looking at almost 9 inches, maybe 8.9 inches of overall blade length. You know, if I line that up, maybe you're sub 4 inches, but you're right at 4 inches. Cutting length, you're getting 3.75 inches of cutting length. Your handle is coming in at 4.9 inches with an effective grip area somewhere in the 4.4 to 4.5 inch area right there. With all of this size comes some thickness as well. The blade stock, which is some Nichols Damascus, is coming in at 152 thousandths. And the handle thickness is coming in at 0.52, so just over ½ an inch. Certainly a heavy-duty, hard-use sort of thickness build right here. All of this titanium and steel brings it to a rather hefty weight of about 6.1 ounces in overall weight. They're not going to change a significant amount from model to model. There's not a ton of internal milling, and so you need to know what you're getting yourself into. 4 inches and 6 ounces is not messing around. Let me bring out another couple of knives for a size comparison. Here is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3. So you can see this is bigger than both of those knives by a significant margin. I'll go ahead and bring out another 4-inch knife right here. This is the Spyderco Subvert. This is actually a 4.1-inch knife, so you're seeing we're getting into this sort of big knife territory right here. Let me bring out another couple of interesting knives. Here's a Beg Knives Osteo. That's coming in with about a 3.5-inch blade right there. And just for one more comparison, we'll bring out the Spyderco Paisan, another large knife right here. So this is a big knife, as you can see, and so you really need to know what you're getting yourself into. But I will say, despite it being so big, it carries quite well, it feels very nice in the hand, and it's beautifully made. So let's go ahead and take a look at the details on this knife and break it down anatomically. Up front, you have a blade of Chad Nichols Damascus, which is beautifully finished. If you run your hand along it, you can tell that it has been polished very nicely and then etched very deeply. You can actually feel the differences in the etch very slightly as you run your finger across it, but it is a very smooth interaction. It does not feel chalky. Some of these knives, when you look at them in pictures, you might think, oh, that must feel chalky or weird in real life. This one most certainly does not. I'm going to wipe that off from my fingerprints. You can see that it is designated USA. You can see the Spartan Blades logo on there. On the back, you're going to be getting the William Harsey signature logo. Just look at that blade. It is really beautiful. They do their blades in standard stonewash finishes and then in this Damascus, and it is really beautiful. Chad Nichols Damascus being out of Mississippi, I believe, Blue Springs. Super nice American-made steel. Very high quality. Going to be both cutting steels, and this is probably going to be stainless Damascus. So you don't have to worry about this rusting on you too hard. Spartan Blades likes to use only the most high-performance materials. I think their other blades may be an S35VN. Here you're going to see the purple thumb studs that work beautifully. You can Spidey flick this knife. You can thumb flick this knife. You can do all kinds of things with it, whatever you need. Open the slow way like this, whatever you need to do. It's got a very nice action and a very nice ability to get all the purchase you need with these thumb studs. They're not too tall that they sit above the scales and open when you take things out of your pocket. They're just the right size. They're not too sharp, and I love the purple anodizing on this particular one. It's held up quite well. There is a little bit of jimping and a thumb ramp right here on the blade. I will say this blade reminds me a lot of the Sebenza blade in the sense that it's a very traditional drop point style blade. Flat ground, nice wedge right here, very sharp tip, very thick stock all the way out to the tip. This is a tactical style blade with tactical intent. You will see in their description that they make blades with intent. This is clearly a tactical knife. This is not intended to be your Spyderco replacement. It's going to be rather thickly ground. Let's take a look at what this says behind the edge. But again, I need you to understand they were not trying to make a knife with the intent of being the sliciest knife in the world. Coming in here behind the edge, about 35 thousandths, something like that. A little bit thicker than your paramilitary series, but certainly slicey enough for what it is. And it is designed for that specific reason. Moving back to the pivot, this thing is running on very, very smooth phosphor bronze washers. This is the best part of a Chris Reeve and a Hinderer action right here. Very snappy detent. A little bit on the lighter side with the detent, a bit like Hinderer, at least the older Hinderers, but not so light that you're going to misfire it. Certainly you can bring it out slowly like this, or you can fire the thing out as I've been doing in this video. Easy enough to Spidey flick the thing. I missed it right there. But once you learn how to do it, you're going to have no trouble. It does not shake out of the handle by any means, but it's a little bit on the lighter side. The action is extremely smooth and consistent. You can drop the knife down under its own weight. Very, very nice phosphor bronze washer action. And as you know, phosphor bronze washers are maybe a little bit more reliable in the long term and in a tactical setting than ball bearings. So you're not getting any dirt, grime, or whatever, blood in there, whatever you might be using this knife for. I really like the large pivot screw right here. Even if it's not huge on the inside, I just like to see that. It's a rather simple pivot. Sometimes they stylize these. You can see the stop pin is affixed right here, shouldered stop pin on both sides, hardened steel. Lockup is solid. You know, I might say that that lock bar travels about 50% across the way of the blade face. There does not appear to be a steel lock bar insert. There is not a steel lock bar insert. However, there is no lock stick at all. Very strong lockup, very, very secure. Excellent, excellent geometry right there. I really like to have a solid lockup like that. It just is super reassuring. Definitely you're going to enjoy that. Take a look here at the lockup area. You're going to notice that the lockup bar is actually slightly raised as in relation to the show scale. That makes it very easy to disengage. You're also going to notice the chamfers here. Makes it easy to access. I almost wish they had done a little bit more of an internal chamfer, particularly on the lock side right there. But again, with that raised area, it makes it very easy to disengage the lock bar. Very good amount of tension, medium tension. Another thing that I really like is that they put the lock bar cutout on the inside. This is a very clever design element. I wish more companies would do this. It allows for the clip to not run along the lock bar relief cuts. I really do enjoy that. Moving back to the handle, this one is done in a rather stylized titanium finish. All of them come with 6AL4V titanium. This one features the Crusader finish. And what you're going to notice is a very neat little bit of purple anodizing going on there. It looks like they had to work really hard in order to get that coloration right there. Maybe they flamed it and then they had to do the design on top of it. So I imagine that that was very difficult, but it came out very beautiful and it accents the purple thumb stud and the hardware very nicely. You're going to see also purple standoffs, purple titanium standoffs. Sorry for all the dust on the inside of this thing. I probably should have cleaned it out. What I'm going to do is this. A lot of noise for your video right there. Sorry. But we're going to take a look at the inside now. A little bit less gross. You'll see no significant internal milling going on there. But what you will notice, perhaps if I bring it up really close, is that there is a titanium internal over travel stop in the Hinderer style, but on the inside, so rather cool. On the lock side, you get a continuation of the cross right here in keeping with the Crusader motif. Here you're going to see the classic arrow clip. This is what they like to use, the Spartan guys, on their knives. It is sort of their symbol right there with the arrow, and I kind of like that. It's not overdone. It's a very simple bent titanium clip, and it functions very well. This knife does not ride very shallowly or very deeply. You're going to have this much of the knife sticking out. I understand about tactical situations, you're going to want to have a lot of knife to be able to grab and pull it out, so I understand it from that perspective. And I'm going to just say nothing more about that because the clip works great. It's very smooth in terms of where it contacts, and it ultimately reaches and touches the frame and is not putting pressure on that lock bar in any way. You're going to see it rests here on the frame, and it is elevated off the lock bar right there when it is open, and so it's a very nice design. What I will say is that taking a look at the Spartan Harsey Folder in pictures and in some other quick videos, it looks a bit like a clunky knife that's not going to be particularly fun, that's not going to be, it may not even be that well made compared to some of these other companies that I've mentioned. And so it has been a joy, a real joy, to get this knife in hand and recognize this is every bit as good as those other two American companies, Hinderer and CRK. The tolerances are tight. The action is excellent. Look how close that blade comes to the handles right there. Phosphor bronze washer action. Beautiful accents. Very nicely finished Damascus. All of this is 10 out of 10. This knife is extremely nicely made. I will say that if you are tired of looking at Chris Reeve knives or Hinderer knives and you want to find something in a similar sort of vein in terms of an overbuilt tactical style folder, look no farther than the Spartan Harsey Folder. There's a reason this thing won Best American Knife at the Blade Show. It is extremely well made. I'm really impressed. In the hand, ergonomically, it is excellent. The thumb rests perfectly there. Your fingers in an excellent grip here. No matter how big your hands are, you're going to get an excellent grip on this big knife. This is going to be too big and too heavy for a lot of people looking for an EDC knife, but if you are in the market for a big, hard-use, overbuilt folder like this, look no further. This is an excellent, excellent knife, and it brings me a lot of pride as an American to see them take such efforts to make sure that every piece of this is manufactured in the U.S. prior to assembling this. All the titanium, all the steel, all these parts are made and manufactured in the United States. So props to Spartan Blades for sticking to their ethos right there, sticking to their guns, and making this a very special knife for a lot of reasons. definitely go check out their website at SpartanBladesUSA.com. Check them out on Instagram at Spartan Blades. Check me out at Dr. Frunky. Go ahead and click like and subscribe to this YouTube channel here. Thank you to Jay Does Knives for sending me this knife for a review. And if you want to help me out, go over to patreon.com/drfrunky where you can help support this channel and I can make some more great videos for you guys. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care.